Hey guys, welcome to the Grabbing the Brisket podcast, the ultimate barbecue podcast for pit masters and grill enthusiasts. So today's episode is all about maintaining a constant cook temperature while cooking briskets and, well, other meats too. So This is kind of a little rules and tricks and tips.
How to control your barbecue pit.
Exactly.
Right. We've been talking brisket for about a month now, so we're finally getting into the meat of it.
Yeah.
Huh.
The meat. Yeah. I don't know if that's really the meat. I think this is probably one of the most overlooked things when it comes to making, like, good barbecue. Okay, I get it, right? A lot of people can make good barbecue, but great barbecue, like perfect barbecue, the temperature is just as important as the cut. Temperature is just as important as anything else.
Right. That's the big skill for most guys, especially if you're going from like pellet or charcoal to using an offset. It's how do you learn how to maintain your fire?
That's right.
The big thing.
And it's, I will tell you this right here, it's blood, sweat, and tears.
And beers.
Right.
Nice.
That's how you maintain a freaking fire.
Do you think it's the probably number one skill in making great barbecue?
Great. See, that's the difference, right? Great barbecue, like that's what sets you apart from mediocre barbecue. Why you have sawdust when you're cutting? It's because you can't maintain a fire, right? And it thinks, well, it ran for 250 degrees for most of the day, and it's always that but. You're like, but I did run it at 400 at one point. I did run it 60 degrees for a little bit.
Yeah,
I forgot
it got away
about
from me.
It got away from me.
Yeah.
And then it took me 2 hours to get it lit. And it was a 14 or 16 hour cook, which should have been a 10-hour cook. You know what I mean? It's just because you didn't have consistent temperature.
Yeah.
And the meat, it goes, right? It feels the temperature. It's like a brisket, right? Think about a brisket it needs that low and slow. Pork maybe needs whatever, but it breaks it down. Then I take that perfect, juicy barbecue.
Right, yeah. Well, I'd say maintaining that temperature is an important enough skill that if you think about it, that's the reason that a lot of guys don't want pellet grills in competition.
Yeah.
Right,
Because
that's the one advantage you have with the pellet grill is you don't have to maintain that temperature. It's doing it for you.
Or it's the reason why you want the pellet grill because it takes the guesswork out of
for sure.
out of trying to. But that's the age
thing.
old.
That's it.
Like you're on one side of the fence. Like I feel like there's always a line in the sand for either you're on this side or you're on this side. You're the purist. There's those people that I will never cook competition barbecue that way or whatever it is. Then you have people like us that we're like, we don't care. We just want to freaking win.
Right. Yeah. If it's legal.
Yeah.
If it's not legal, fine.
If you're not cheating,
but if
you're
it's
not
legal,
trying.
Yeah, so
it is what it is.
We jumped a little ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I'm sorry, brother.
Let's get into the intro. How's everybody's week been? So we're just coming off New Year's celebration, New Year Day. How's everybody's New Year's? Did everybody wake up just feeling just bright and cheery New Year's Day?
Felt amazing.
I did.
I was fine.
Yeah. Damn old Matt. Always just doing the nice thing.
What did you do New Year's Eve?
I hung out with my kids, and that was it.
Okay.
That's exactly what I did.
The night before, I got like no sleep. I was like, I'm not going to go just be hanging out and getting drunk or something stupid with people. So
wow. I went and pre-gamed until about 6:30. Then came home. We did some dinner stuff. I started pre-gaming a little bit more at that point.
At that point, you're not pre-gaming. You're just gaming.
I just pre-gaming. I was pre-gaming before the big awards, our big show, right? And we had Emma stay with us, and we had Lily. So it was an awesome pair because they get along so well. They both eat the same things, and they're both like they had the same kind of moods. So it really didn't matter. I was just like, "You want some chicken nuggets? Great, I'll order 60 of them here." And I mean, literally, that's what I did one night, you know. But my favorite part was when I lit like 3 sparklers, like the big, huge sparklers, and I started handing them out. And I got kind of nervous because like the people down the street were like shooting off these crazy big fireworks. I'm like, we're in the city, man. Like cops gonna be here in a minute. You can't be doing that. And but of course, I'm the guy with Roman candles because I want to light my shit. You know what I mean?
Right, don't do that. It's my turn.
Right. So I lit Roman candles and handed them to the girls. They weren't having it.
Oh, right.
They were like, I'm not ready for the Roman candle. I was like, grab the damn Roman candle right now. It's about to shoot off. I was trying to get to go back to back. I was like, get back to back now. Go off 10 steps and face each other. Right?
What?
I know.
It's not 1988. You can't do that.
You could do that. They were so nervous, and all of a sudden the damn thing started shooting up, and then they were like, we're gonna shoot the neighbor's house. We're gonna shoot in the sky.
That's
so
great.
It was fun.
That's why you can't do fireworks.
Exactly.
And shooting at the neighbor's house.
Yeah. Lily goes, you had me. I was so perturbed by you because you just kept lighting them and handing it to us. Because at one point, she was holding 3 different sparklers, and I'm lighting a Roman candle. I'm like, hurry here, take the Roman candle.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't with you right now.
That's funny. You're all worried about people shooting off those fireworks, and years ago, we're shooting artillery shells out on the street. Getting the cops called on us. So
that's right.
It gives me like flashbacks of I couldn't even tell you how old we were. Probably I could have been like 8, 10. Just here's the sparklers. Go have fun. Just run. Like I don't even know how hot a sparkler burns. It's got to be like just the
Hundreds.
sun, right? Here, kids, run off of that. So I think either me or another kid or somebody burnt Jan in the back with a sparkler.
That's right.
It literally just melted his clothes and then just right into his skin and just like melted the
We're
skin.
chasing each other with these freaking
Yeah,
sparklers.
we're playing like sparkler tags.
Hey.
Like,
I'm going to win. Sparkler tag, I tagged him in the back. He crumbled so fast.
What a wuss.
I mean, I'm like, dang, kill him, get you up. Now, I'd never been burned by one either because, you got to run.
Do you guys ever have like uncle? I had a drunk uncle who would always like come over and he'd bring like fireworks over and be like, "This one's only legal in 3 states. It's not legal here." To be some like M5000 or whatever thing, and be throwing that like ponds, trying to kill fish and scoop them up afterwards.
I purchased this in Tijuana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't do any of that, John? You didn't do any fireworks?
For a little bit, yeah. I had an uncle that lived in Kansas, so he would come out to California because nothing's legal in California.
Yeah.
He would bring out the artillery shells and all that kind of stuff, and we'd let them off.
What about it this year, though, at home?
We didn't do anything. Our neighbors did. Oh my God, we got a video. I'll have to show you guys. Maybe I can post it somewhere. Our neighborhood was going. We heard the fireworks. Oh, let's go see. We go outside. When I tell you, it looked like a war zone. So much smoke.
Yeah, right.
You literally could not see the house across the street. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
So much smoke.
That's how it was
what
here.
The fuck?
Good
We were out
neighbors.
there for a couple minutes. We're like, no, we better go back in. Somebody's getting in trouble.
Somebody's hand's getting blown off tonight.
Right? Yeah. It was crazy.
So we did. There was no fireworks popped off. We went and visited Dusty, Janae, Derek Coran up in LaGrange, and so there were no fireworks that are popped off. At least that I can remember. Us, maybe somebody else, but I think there's a burn ban going on in LaGrange.
It's always a burn.
Yeah, but we did pregame Friday night and stayed up a little too late. Not that bad, but enough in the morning where you kind of felt it a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I'd bought like a pork butt, and I was like, all right, we got to get up and we're gonna put this pork butt on. And so we got Dusty has the Kamado style smoker, so we got that thing fired up, pork butt on it. I trying out my new Christmas gift was the meat stick, that wireless temperature probe, super awesome, badass. And so we got that fired up, and once that was on, I'm like, what else? Right. I'm like, what?
We got to do something else.
Do you got anything else we can cook?
You got any beer?
Right. And so
That's what happens, right?
Right. And so, yeah, Dusty
Nothing
was
else to do. Like, we'll get drunk.
Right. Yeah, Dusty was like, I think maybe I'll just get a beer. I'm like, then he walked off and he had to go get, I think he was fucking around with the chicken coop or something like that. And then I was like, yeah, beer sounds good.
What time is this?
It was probably about noon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I was like, then he came back and I got the beer. I was like, so it's either I'm going to start drinking now and it's just going to maintain all the way up to midnight, or I drink 3 or 4 beers, I get super sleepy, and then I take a nap, and then we wake up and we kick off the New Year's festivities. I'll tell you what happened.
Right. It was the first one?
It was the first one. I tell you what should have happened, but I lasted the whole night through and through, but I can tell you at some point in time, I was eyeballing the clock, and I was like, shit, let me see what time it is. I look it over. It's like 6:30. I'm like, fuck, man.
I'm not going to make it.
Then
Like 5.5
we're all
hours.
dancing, doing all the festivities. Look over, it's like 8 o'clock. I'm like, man, when is this ever going to get here? By the time midnight rolled around, and then I think by then
Everybody's
I was just
dropping like flies.
yeah, and then somebody busted out the karaoke machine, and everybody starts doing the whole karaoke thing. We did kind of a themed white trash type New Year's Eve party bash type deal. A lot of great food, a lot of drinks. So we had a blast. So I could tell you, and we drove back on New Year's Day, and that was a fun drive. That was just, I don't really like driving like hungover, but that's one of those like, you just get in and you're just like zoned out.
Oh yeah, right.
You're in like
right.
Autopilot
mode. And you like blink, and all of a sudden it's like funny. You're like you're so in, like if you're driving home from work and then you get engaged, just thinking of something in your mind, and like 2 seconds later you're sitting in your driveway and you have no recollection of the 20-minute drive you just did. You're just like,
got hypnotized.
what the fuck happened?
How'd I get here?
Yeah.
It happened today.
But it was fun.
Happens every day I'm on the road.
On the way to work.
I press the cruise control, man. I just sit back and relax sometimes. I don't even I'm just looking out the window, playing on my phone.
Every time I talk to Jan on the phone, it doesn't sound like he's being relaxed. It's always, get the fuck out of the way.
Because the truck's running like 75 miles an hour, and then like my truck will slam on the brakes if it gets in behind somebody that's not going like the speed limit.
Right.
And let's be honest, the
That's
speed
good.
limit is 10 miles faster than the posted speed limit. That's normal Texas speed limit. Whatever it's posted, it's 10 miles more than that. That's fair.
If it's at least 50, then the speed limit's actually 80 in Texas.
Yeah,
at least
right.
that's the way I think
Right.
it should be.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
You're right. This last week, though, I've been kind of stressed this week a little bit. Just a lot going on with, I don't know, whatever. Just a lot of shit happening. But I have kind of developed this little bit of road rage thing where I'm talking to everybody now, and I used to never do that, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? Open your fucking eyes. And I'm just like, I'm yelling at everybody on the street, and then half the time I realize like, they're actually driving good. I am the idiot. I'm the crazy person. So now I'm just trying to take a breath. I'm like, you know what? I'll just get there when I get there. I'm not going to run like 1,000,000 miles an hour. I'm just going to keep it real.
Yeah, stay safe.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
It's tough. You get in the grind sometimes. You forget.
Right. It's hard out there for
You finally became a
That's
Houston
right.
driver after
Yeah.
53 years or however old you are now. So
Go fuck yourself.
58.
So for the
58, my bad.
fine folks that are just tuning in for the first time that have never heard of the Grabbing the Brisket podcast, hey, welcome. We thank you for tuning in. We thank you for the listen and support. Honestly, just trying to develop a culture of just hanging out with people and
Barbecue
talking
maniacs.
barbecue and obviously the stupid shit that we get into, and we'd love to hear the stupid shit you guys get into. So we do have a hotline. So if anybody out there wanted to drop us a story, drop us maybe a win, like they just killed that birthday brisket that they cooked, or they nailed that pork butt. Hey, send us a message. We'd love to hear it, and we'd love to put it on the show and feature it. And if we do play it, then you win a bottle of Sucklebusters rum.
That's right. That's right.
That hotline number is
434-829-2299.
yeah, and you can always reach us at www. Why do I put the
Oh,
W's?
man.
God,
You went
man.
World Wide Web on
Who is
them
still
numbers.
typing the W's, James?
The World Wide Web. GrabTheBrisket.com.
The internets.
Yeah,
if anybody
that's
has
funny,
been on
man.
the internets,
That's good.
So,
Dial
yeah.
up that modem.
grab them in thebrisket.com. And
James
that's all
is
I
still
got.
using his Netscape browser.
Right. That's how they get you.
That's great.
Wow.
All right.
How about some hot off the grill barbecue news?
I'm ready for it, brother.
All right. So the big one that I'm the most excited about is the NBBQA annual conference. We've been talking about this since we went to the last one.
That's right.
But there's some new news about it. New news?
New news.
New news. They're offering some master classes this year at this event. And if you want to sign up for these, it's $200 for if you're a member, $300 if you're a non-member, and you get all 4 classes. And the 4 classes are taught by none other than Tuffy Stone, Mark Lambert,
World champion.
Moe Cason,
World champion.
and Boars Night Out.
World champion.
Exactly. They're doing whole hogs. They're doing, I don't know what all they're doing. They're doing a bunch of stuff. And that's a screaming deal to get
You're
classes.
getting four classes, 8 hours of
8 hours.
of whatever for $300 for non-members and $200 for members.
Yeah, it's amazing. From those 4, it's crazy.
Yeah, hanging out in Orlando, Florida, at a resort,
Yeah.
just having the best time of your life, hanging out with all these people.
Yeah.
And there'll be a link in the description, and we've already got links, I think, on our website too. If you want to sign up for that, you should, because we'll be there. It's going to be a freaking blast. And then the other news I have is the Smokin Brothers barbecue team is hosting their 3rd annual When Pigs Fly indoor barbecue bash and a CA cook-off. This is an indoor cook-off. I've never even heard of that before, but they're having one, and it's coming up in this next week or so, January 13th and 14th. I think there's a dinner, like kickoff party the Friday night or whatever the night before, and then the competition is the next day, and we'll have a link for that in there as well.
I don't. Can we? I don't understand how do you do an indoor cook-off with steaks? Like a bunch of hibachi grills going, and like a bunch of
A lot of fire extinguishers. I
yeah,
guess,
maybe
you know, like,
probably right.
I don't know what kind of building it is. Maybe
gotta
they can
stink up
do
that
that
building.
in whatever kind of building. I don't know. You're the fire guy. You should know.
Well,
these
I've done
things.
these exhibits before. People are frying and whatever cooking in the buildings. It just seems weird to me.
I don't
I'm
know.
just not gonna lie.
Maybe it's like a barn or something.
got
I
a
don't know.
carcinogen blowing in the air.
That's like
Yeah.
a pavilion.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, maybe it's like a pavilion. That's a good word.
An-
I like that word.
An
Pavilion.
indoor pavilion. I never heard. Hey, go out there to indoor pavilion. I never heard that.
Maybe
I've
it's a
heard
really
outdoor
large
pavilion.
pagoda.
Hey,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Good.
It sounds fun.
Sounds
though.
badass,
It sounds
though.
like something you want to see at least once. So
Did you
check
see
it
what the purse was on this?
out. I think I did, but I don't remember what it is. I know it was.
A lot of money, I think.
Yeah, it's up there. I won't. Shit, I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, but they have a lot of big names there too that are going to Sunny Moody, Hey Girl Hey, I think Heath Rouse, and some of these guys are like teaming up with I think veterans or something to coach them on their cooks. It's really cool. It's a cool event.
Nice. I want to
Okay.
be coached.
Right,
be
coach
coached.
me.
Put me in the game.
Write this down. And that's all I got for the hot off the grill barbecue news.
There it is.
I am sad I'm going to miss that NBBQA though.
Yeah,
I'm going to my cousin's wedding, and I'm going to make sure he knows the entire time. Like, you know, I'm missing out on that to be here. So that's why I didn't get you a wedding gift.
he
Well-
should have got married in Orlando.
What day's the wedding on?
Saturday. Yeah.
Can I give a quick shout out, real quick?
Let's do it.
I love what you did.
Curveball whiskey. Curveball, the original barbecue whiskey. Throw it back. This was sent to us along with a absolute crap ton of swag. You want to put this up maybe in front of the camera?
Let me
for
see
a
this
second?
quick.
They sent us like stickers, vests, bottles of whiskey, miniatures, hats, beanies, you name it. Really cool care package. We super appreciate it. I'm going to be honest. When I first tasted it, I was like, oh, I don't know about this. I got it cold. It's a little bit better. I mixed it with my Coke. It's just a bomb. If there was a barbecue Coca-Cola on the market, that's what this is right here.
Yeah, it's first of its kind, a barbecue whiskey, and we've tried it separately, just sipping it, and it's smoky, it's sweet, it's different.
They call it the original, and it makes me wonder, like, are there a bunch more of these out there?
I don't think
They
so.
had to
This
call-
is like brand new.
Just the only one.
I'm sure
Right.
you'll probably see some copycats that go out there.
Oh, we do know Crown Royal did it at one point.
Sir,
They have like a smoky.
Where are they
something.
out of?
This is not just like a. I'm not. I think they're in Florida. I'm not positive on that though. This is not like a smoky whiskey. This is a barbecue flavored whiskey.
Yeah, like barbecue sauce.
Yes,
No,
this
it's
tastes
Wisconsin.
like barbecue. That's what I thought. Wisconsin. I get those two mixed up.
Wisconsin. Yeah, it's not. It's
Yeah.
not Florida. I'll tell you that.
Right, they're very similar.
Yeah, you know, I've had this, and we're actually drinking this a minute ago, and you've got it. You've got one going, right? You've
Yeah,
had it-
I've
you've
been
had
working. Yeah, on
couple
this.
of going there.
Yeah, this is
I
mostly
mean, when you open it up, you get a you get a really smokiness coming. It tastes. It smells like a smoky.
Like the aroma is just like
Yeah,
you just open up that barbecue pit.
that's what it
It's
smells like. Like
you
I
get a
just
wolf would just like
but
smoke in
but it's
the
a
face.
cold barbecue pit, right?
Right.
You know, you get to barbecue, you open it up, and you had that just cold smoke that's already been seasoned the grill with. That's what it smells like.
You're right. Let's get a warm shot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
now it smells like a lit pit.
Right.
Anyways, I just wanted to say thank you to them for sending that to us because I like it.
It's
I wasn't
smooth.
sure at first, but I really like it now.
And
Yes.
if we were more better prepared, they sent like a pamphlet with it that had like different things you can mix it with and all
Right.
that.
Recipes.
It's
Well,
very sweet.
It is.
It's a sweet whiskey. It's smoky. I
We'll
mean,
make some
it's
some
good.
videos with it.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
some
yeah.
drinks.
A lot of
and-
content coming up.
Yeah, maybe we'll make a barbecue sauce with it. I don't know.
Ooh.
Something.
we should make a glaze with that.
Yeah.
100%.
Thanks again, guys.
Now would be a good time if we just jumped into a
Paying the bills. Is that what you're gonna
yeah.
pay the bill?
A
Pay
quick
the
commercial
bills.
break.
Pay the bills. Pay.
Okay, we'll pay the bills. Let's do that. Episode is brought to you in part by Oklahoma Joe's new Ryder Deluxe pellet grills.
Since the company's humble beginnings in 1987, Oklahoma Joe has helped those who appreciate the process and the craft of smoking.
What began with Joe Davidson, a member of the Barbecue Hall of Fame, and a dozen hand-built smokers at the Oklahoma State Fair over 30 years ago has since forged an Oklahoma Joe's brand that builds some of the most sought-after smokers.
Oklahoma Joe has a proud history of creating uncompromising smokers and grills with carefully crafted design, and the newest generation of the popular Rider Series pellet grills carries on this tradition.
The new features in the Oklahoma Joe's Rider Deluxe pellet grills include a Pit Control 2.0 system that delivers the category's first dual-sensor temperature control.
Fire-focused dual-sensor feedback optimizes temperature control based on selected cooking styles, low and slow smoking, or high-heat grilling.
A power feed system that boasts the high-torque auger motor that powers through pellets for incredible power and performance.
The new Rider Deluxe series builds on several popular features, including smoke and sear modes, which features an impressive temperature range that runs from 200 degrees Fahrenheit to a searing hot 650 degrees Fahrenheit, and a 20-pound quick-draw hopper that allows unused pellets to be drained in seconds for simple storage, removal, and swapping of pellet flavors. Guys, if you want to find out more information about the new Rider Deluxe series pellet grills from Oklahoma Joe, check out the Oklahoma Joe's website, and the link is in our description in the bio, and that's oklahomajoes.com.
Let me ask me, Kevin Smith. Everybody knows at the root of any good relationship, any relationship worth anything, is the only thing that matters between two people. And I'm talking about television. That's right. That's why you should listen to Married with Television, man, which is a podcast by my friends Shannon and Jamie, I call her cat ears, about movies and TV that they have loved for decades, man. You listen at marriedwithtv.com or anywhere you get your podcasts. They are proud members of the Oddpods Media Network, man. Married with Television.
And we're back with the Grabbing the Brisket
Beer review.
Oh, yeah.
All right, John, what did you bring us today?
I went with a classic that I have not had in probably, I don't know, a long time. This is a St. Pauli Girl lager. This is the original German recipe, as it says on the bottle. St. Pauli Girl.
As soon as I cracked this open, I immediately had college flashbacks.
Oh, yeah?
I drank this one a lot in college.
Yeah, it comes in one of the clear green bottles, which honestly lowers my expectations.
Oh, yeah, it's skunky.
It's skunky.
It's got a
Is
skunky
it?
smell to it.
It's got that.
For sure.
Can I get a bottle opener, maybe, from somebody? Anybody?
Yeah, so.
He's over there Bogarting it.
It's a twist off, but if arms
Is
are
it
too
really?
weak, if your arms are too weak, you can use that.
Yeah, you can just twist it off. We just want to show the fact that we have a beer opener on our spatula. So
I feel like this is what the people on Jersey Shore just drinks, like, all the time. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're right. It smells bad.
yeah,
Guys, I can't believe you guys have never had St. Pauli's Girl.
I have.
I have long time ago.
Long-
Okay.
It's very just Heineken Rollin'
I
Rock.
was
Like,
literally going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Where did you get this, John? Did you buy this at a store recently?
Gas station today.
It says best before October 2021.
Jesus. John's trying to kill us.
Well,
That might explain the
I
skunkiness.
literally bought it today.
Yeah,
like
okay.
on the way here.
Was it a gas station?
well, I said
It's
it's
our
best.
gas station.
Yeah, the Shell.
Well, I can see
Whatever
why.
it is up there.
They're notorious for this kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it's a little skunky.
Yeah. Obviously, it's not going to get the best score from me. Do we need to go in talking about any more of this, or are we just going to draw this out for
No, let's just give
while.
a score. Unless you
Yeah.
guys want to
That
keep.
was really quick.
No, I'm ready. Can I go first?
go
Please?
first?
Yeah, this is a 4-4. It's got a good taste, but the skunkiness, as soon as you get your mouth, it just like you think you're tasting crap, and then it surprises you. It's kind of weird. This beer is skunked for sure. I can't drink anymore.
What'd you give it?
A 4-4.
4-4. Wow.
Yeah.
See, this one, I think I must have just had a bunch of expired St. Pauli's Girls in college because this just takes me right back,
Just the same. Yeah.
5 years
Yeah.
ago, when I was like 21 in college. Like, this just takes me right back to that. And I don't know. I think there's a lot of nostalgia points going in here, but I'm giving it a 7-2.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm going to drink the rest of these if you leave them here.
Well, I guess you're drinking the rest of them.
Here, take mine.
Right.
Let's get this guy a cup.
I'll jump right in there. I'm going to go a solid, just 3.0.
There it is, man.
Okay.
It's
You
not
got to
my
be
thing.
different, right? Dare
Not
to
my
be
jam.
different, James.
The
Dare to be different.
the flavor's not great. The smell is worse for me. The smell is what punches you
It
first.
just gets you, right? It sets you up for something failure, and then you taste it. It is not as bad as it
right.
smells.
It's like,
Yeah, exactly. You're like
You're already kind of put off though.
right.
Yeah, so I don't know.
This is subpar for me.
Yeah.
And the fact that I know now
Whiskey's
that it's
better.
expired. Oh, 100%. Now that I know that it's like not expired, but past its best by,
Yeah.
I almost want to give it like a DNF or
I know. I feel bad. rating it.
disqualified.
Yeah, probably.
We'll revisit this
Yeah.
again.
I'll give it a story. Though. I'm gonna go. I'm with James. I'm gonna go with 3. This is not good.
know,
It's
not good.
Have you
Not
ever
good.
noticed that it's in a green bottle, by the way, for people
always.
who are just listening? But anytime something's in a green bottle, that light gets into it and it gives that skunkiness. So like Dos Equis and all those kinds of beers, they'll get that kind of skunkiness to them when they've been kind of out in the light too long.
Yeah. Well, I guess that'll wrap it up for the Grabbing the Brisket.
Beer
review.
That may be the most uninteresting beer review we've
Yeah.
ever
The
done.
quickest, like,
we've done some bad ones.
I don't know.
Let's just get over it.
I
killed
don't even think anybody even said anything about the flavor.
Right.
Just skunky.
It's just
Somebody
killed it.
pour the whiskey into the beer to see if that helps.
Oh, have you seen where you
Probably
take
would.
it's any beer, but I think you can do like a Corona or some kind of beer like that. What beer was it? But you mix it with Di Serrano, and it makes a Dr. Pepper.
I've heard this.
Any beer?
Any beer
Huh.
mixed with Di Serrano
Interesting.
will
Yeah.
make a Dr. Pepper flavor.
Well, let's try
That
it.
makes sense. Yeah. It's kind of like the Di Serrano is the, what do you call it? The amaretto.
It's a Dr.
Yeah,
Pepper
liqueur.
Cherry-ish
of,
liqueur
cherry
type thing.
liqueur.
yeah, but in
type.
beer, like it'll taste like Dr. Pepper, and then like the flaming would be like the 151 that you would
Right.
light on fire to on the top, get it whatever, then drop the
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know.
You're at work, just like pull up a Coors Lights and
Yeah.
it's a Dr. Pepper. It's a Dr.
Yeah. This is my 14th Dr. Pepper.
Right.
I'm actually a doctor now.
Remember we're in Steamville. So I think that day or so, I was trying to get like flaming Dr. I never. Somebody did one, I think.
Yeah.
And then that guy was like, "Oh, you want to do some shots?" I was like, "Yeah." So he does that whole tray, right? So I talk him into doing this whole tray. We're broke. We're broke college kids. I got James' credit card. I don't know what. I'm like, hey, I'm underage. What do you think? If they say, yes, I'll serve you. If I'm underage, yes, you think I'm not going to buy? Of course I am. I'm buying I'm buying an abundance, right? So this whole sorority house thing walked in this bar we were at and filled up like a quarter of it. And I was like, dude, I got to talk to these girls, man. I said, I need shots, right?
James, give me the credit card.
So I was talking to the bartender. I was like, bro, I got to get over there, man. Like, I went over a couple of times, but they're just not having it, And I get it, right? I mean, I wasn't the cup of tea, right? But when I had them tray of shots in my hands, yeah, I was like, okay, got you. We named those shots shit on grass because that's what it looked like. They were disgusting. Every one of them drank it. We all drank them. But then I ended up buying another tray of shots.
Right.
Yeah. It was
James
like-
bought 'em.
The shot
James
was,
bought 'em.
Thanks for pointing that out.
The shot was, and I can't even tell you if it's some type of melon liqueur. So it was green
Yeah.
on the bottom,
Yeah.
and it had a brown floating layer on top.
That
Yeah.
sounds
Shit on
gross.
grass.
Shit on
Okay,
grass.
Shit on
Yeah.
grass.
Anyways, that's what happens when you.
Whatever. Yeah.
When Jan's your brother?
Jan's your brother.
Degenerate.
Exactly.
drink.
Hey, you know what? We are degenerates. So more power to it, bro.
All right, we're getting into the barbecue portion of this podcast. Finally, I know there's a lot of people are jumping in, they're tuning in. They're
Are they
going
going to talk about barbecue?
Right. Some poor bastard's probably already made it to work. He's like, fuck, I'm already at work.
I don't know how to take care of the goddamn pit. Right?
They're already trying to cook.
You never gave us any information like usual.
And this is the end of the podcast.
Thanks for listening.
Stay tuned to next
My
episode.
smoker's at 600 degrees.
We'll talk about how to maintain the temperature on your smoker. Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Well, hey, here it is.
Yeah. So obviously, there's quite there's a lot of information out on the internet that you can tune into. So I pulled off a couple of tips. We'll discuss them. We'll talk about them. One of them is using a good quality smoker. When I say good quality, something that has a little bit more thicker material.
Right.
Yep.
The thinner
So,
gauge
yep.
the material, the harder it's going to be to maintain your temperature.
Yeah, it's just going to, especially if you live in an environment that it's like really cold outside or it is cool, it's just going to cool down that pit so quick.
It was not. It's the pit will heat up fast. It's just hard to like the spikes, right? It just spikes or it cools off.
You're gonna burn
so
through
fast.
a lot of wood.
So you're just
Up,
kind of
down, up,
yeah,
down.
the ebbs and flows there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a little bit thicker retains heat a little bit easier. It kind of helps keep a constant temperature.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, we have barbecue pits like our one that we have that's on the trailer, and it's probably maybe a 1/4 inch thick material, maybe a little bit thicker than that.
Yeah.
And that firebox is just as thick. And once you get that temperature up to where you like it, it just kind of sits there for a while because that whole metal just gets heated up, and you get that radiant heat just sitting there beaming. And there's points in time where we're like, oh yeah, we're cooking at 275, all good, and then you come back like 20 minutes later and it's back down to
180.
180
Or
because we never checked the
200.
firebox and
Right.
all the wood is burnt up.
It'd be at 275 still, but there's no fire left.
Yeah, just maintain.
It's because that metal just holds onto that heat.
That's right. So think about this though. If you have a thinner metal, maybe it's more responsive. The gauge is so maybe you know it faster, and you don't run out of.
It's true.
Possibly,
Yeah,
right?
you
Is
definitely
that- is
get
that
the
a
more
thing?
spikes though.
You're not faked out by because I've been faked out the same way. I look over, I'm like, oh no, 250. It's pegged, 250. I'm like, oh, it's been 250 all day.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm good. So now, but we're pros, right? We know if we look here, we still look.
Right.
Here,
Yeah.
right?
Look
Correct.
at your damn firebox.
That's
people.
right.
Yeah.
Just that's the first place you go. There, gauge. Boom.
Yeah,
Right.
you got to be able to maintain. You got to be present and you got to maintain. You can't just think that I'm just going to throw a log on and I'm going to
gonna go watch
inside
the game.
house
Right.
and watch the game.
Yeah.
And then
Not
next thing you
happening.
know, like maybe 45 minutes later, you come out and go, oh shit, I'm at like 180. What happened? You're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
well,
well, or you have no fire at all, and no matter what you're putting in there, you can't get started again.
You better at least have a bed of coals.
So then you got chimney. You got a chimney now. You got a little lighter charcoal. You get all those completely white hot and whatever.
right.
Toss those in. Put logs on top. Man, you're wasted 45 minutes to an hour. Maybe even longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have one using a thermometer. Yeah, that's one that we always kind of talk
We
about.
know, yeah.
You have to be able to monitor your temperature. If you have a wireless probe that you can put in your pit and it reads and it sits right next to your Lazy Boy, great. You sit there and watch your temperatures
Yeah.
go up and down,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all that good stuff. One of them is like some of this is like I say it's just like basic like rudimentary, elementary, beginning type stuff. Keep the smoker door closed. That whole
If you're looking at ain't cooking.
pretty much.
Right, yeah,
You
right.
keep opening, keep closing, or whatever. It just it's not a good deal. And
Yeah, that's a good point right there, James. Think about this. Like, and I know we say this right here all the time. If you're looking, you ain't cooking, baby. Like whatever it is, right? But everybody's proud of their barbecue, and every time somebody walks up, like if I'm cooking at the house, whatever else, right? What are you cooking? And the first thing is like they want to see it. They want to see what you're cooking, and honestly, I want to show them. And in my mind, every time I open that lid, I go, you're ruining my shit, dude.
Yeah.
But here you go. Take a look. And I'm like, quick, boom, boom, down. But even then,
Yeah,
I
to some
know.
degree that depends upon the pit too, though, right? Like 'cause some of those ones they'll bounce back quick, and some of the ones they're gonna fight to get back up to temperature.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that's
on
right.
on the drum you have in your backyard, you could pop that thing open, show somebody something, close it, and it's gonna be at temperature. It's hardly gonna fluctuate at all.
yeah, but too long and it stokes too high.
Right. And you have the opposite
Then you're
problem.
worried about trying
Especially
to
on a drum.
bring those drums down, and that's almost impossible.
Right,
You're
because those
snuffing
you
it
have
out.
you have a ton of fuel in the bottom of that thing that isn't lit yet, and once
That's
you
right.
start lighting it,
It's going to go, and they're supercharged already too, right? Those
Right.
those briquettes are already
They're ready
hot.
to go.
They're ready to pop. Just get me a little bit of flame, boom. There's one on here, James, I really liked, and I don't think we ever talk about this enough. And you've worded this really good. Keep the vent on the smoker open just enough to maintain the desired temperature. And I think that's something that people lose on there. They open wide open. They go all the way open, right? And they're getting everything started, and which is you should when you're getting things started. But when you get your temperature back, that stack down, let it wait, let it start to fluctuate a little bit, and find that point where you want it. That's how your pit will run or whatever else.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't ever they open it up and they go, damn, this thing's chewing through a lot of wood, or man, I can't maintain the temperature on this thing. And I think that's like a really important thing, especially for an offset smoker.
Right. I'm 100% guilty of that. I know even when I first got Johnny and June, I was guilty of always having everything wide open. I'd have the door on the back wide open because it's not a damper. It's just a door.
And you get a huge smokestack on that.
Right. And I'd be like, look at this thing. This thing's burning like a champ. Like, it's just blowing through. You can't even see the smoke coming out.
Yeah.
And you'd come over, or James would be like closing the door almost all the way up. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, and I'd open it back up, and you guys would walk away, and then you guys come back and close it. And yeah, obviously it's going to draw and it's going to burn, but the other end of that spectrum is that now you're not getting any smoke at all. Like, you think you're smoking, but you ain't smoking at that point. You want to get a little bit of, I don't want to say dirty smoke, but you want some smoke.
You want a little bit more. But also, I think even though the thermometer is reading that temperature, you're not getting that. You're heating up and you're getting it, but I think you're exhausting that heat just as fast as you're creating it, which to me, you need to have this up-down type situation where this heat smoke come in, it presses down through your grates and goes out, which is naturally it does, but the orifice on yours is like an 8-inch stack that converted to a 6-inch.
Sucking it through.
And when that door is open, man, you're humming. And you can chew through some wood that way as well.
Yeah. I concur.
Indeed.
So, one thing I was thinking about, you got to be patient, like especially when you're adding fuel to your fire. I know a lot of people, like they roll up to their pit and they're like, it's down low. You're like, holy shit. My wife or my significant other is like already harping me on, when's this shit going to be done? And you're like, it'll be done when it's done. Like shit. No, actually,
no.
The lie is,
So
don't say that.
No, I guarantee you don't ever say that.
no. What you say is it'll be ready. In
10 more minutes.
10 more minutes.
10 more minutes.
30 more
About
minutes.
another hour.
Yeah.
Plus the rest.
Look, I love the fact that some people just don't ever realize like how long it really takes to do something. And you're like, I had a timetable, like Thanksgiving, right? I told you I was putting the bird on at 1 o'clock. I estimated this thing to be a 2-hour cook. I can't help you that if it was a 2-hour and 45-minute cook to get it done. Just because you gauged 2 hours, now you're thinking, turkey's not done. Now we can't eat. Everything's getting cold. You're like, holy shit! You blamed it all on.
We're not
on
trying
the
to make
turkey.
everybody sick.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So be patient. Like a lot of times, you add fuel to it.
You try to rush it, right?
You got to let it come up to temperature.
That's right.
You can't add fuel and then 10 minutes later add more fuel and then 10 minutes later after that add more fuel.
Yeah, I see a lot of people do it. Like
Yeah,
their
an inferno.
temperature gets down too much. They're like, I'm going to throw 3 logs on to get it back up, and now you're like, you got a huge fire.
Now you're reaching for the gasoline. You're like, we're gonna get this motherfucker going.
Right. We have actually been good. Jan has been
I am
guilty
very
of,
guilty of
let's
that.
hurry these briskets up.
No.
Next thing is running at 600 degrees.
No, but when I look at a timetable, like so, prime example, the last party that we did, like the event, right? When you came out that morning, right, customer party, my company graciously allowed us to come out, and we kicked ass for them, and they were going to sponsor a cook-off, which we're still in negotiations for that. But yeah, you're exactly right, because we gauged the timetable. Obviously, I knew what time it needed to be done by, but that wasn't happening. And I looked at
stressful.
I forecasted this. And I was like, well, we're not there. And I was at a point like, freaking throw some logs. And James is still. I'm ready to run like a thoroughbred. James is like, whoa, easy, buddy. Just relax. It's going to be okay. And you were calming with that, right? I mean, you helped me out a lot, even though I was ready to throw something at you. Like, where's your sense of urgency? And you were just like, hey, just calm down, dude. Just let it go. You're like, just go up there and talk to people. I will handle this, right? I'd walk away and I'd come back like 1 minute later, like, I was nervous wreck, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Like, you don't want to have to speed it up, but sometimes you can. But you don't want to.
But you don't. But like, honestly, if there's something like that, you have to do it. You're gauging it. But again, that's not what makes good barbecue. And I think that's the key.
Right.
You're right. Patience makes barbecue.
Yeah, if you don't think it's going to affect your cook, it's going to affect your cook.
That's right.
Yeah. And so if you get into a situation where the temperature is dropping low, one of the things I do, and a lot of this is just kind of, we're trying to be in the, like, more kind of blanket this on everything. I know every pit's different.
Yeah.
Especially if you're using
Easy
like
bake
maybe
ovens.
a Weber. You're trying to smoke something on a Weber, like something, even a offset smoker that is maybe not huge and it has a small firebox. It might be easy or good for you guys to, once you see your coals start dying down, maybe just go ahead and get another chimney of coals going on. Get that lit up. That way you could just dump it into it, close it up, and you're good to go. You don't have to wait for that lump or those briquettes to light to catch and to catch the wood to catch you back up to where you needed to be.
Yeah, be a little more proactive.
Pretty much, yeah, proactive. I guess that's the word we're looking for.
Yeah.
That's kind of how those guys that do a lot of the whole hogs on the open pits do it. They'll have a burn barrel going on the side where they're just shoveling in the coals already ready to go. It's a good idea, actually. I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
well,
people that were, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Obviously, if you're struggling, right? If you know you're struggling and you're like, man, I've been fighting this thing all day. Like, I don't have a good wind spot. It's smoldering. I can't get a good fire. I can't get good coals. Yes, do that, right? But don't go chew through a lot of charcoal and be like the guy, like, that charcoal ran through. Hurry, get more charcoal, and just keep lighting a bunch of charcoal all day, right?
Ideally, that log is burning down and becoming your new coals.
That's it.
Right.
The charcoal is if things are going, you already messed up,
Right,
and you need to get it back up again.
I think we need we need like a burn bucket where we can take and just pull those ashes completely out and just have that clean firebox
100%.
all day long.
I would love to get a big aluminum bucket or trash can or something.
Burn bucket, we could whatever, and then obviously just leave on site and drive off, or let somebody else deal with it afterwards.
Not my problem.
We'll buy a bunch of them. I don't know. I mean, like, obviously, don't do what we did over at Dad's Club, because I took those ashes, threw it in the trash dumpster, and then
the fire department was
as I drove down 518, about 30 minutes later,
Fire truck.
past fire trucks, and they actually, as I made a comment like, I wonder if they're going over to that thing. They were. So let that be a lesson.
Are you
there.
only telling the story because that statute of limitations?
It's
came
ran
up?
out.
Okay, good.
It's ran out. I didn't say which dad's club. I said a dad's club. So hey,
Yeah,
Let's
that's like
go.
when I took the logs that you had cooked. I don't know what the hell they were in there, but they were still. I guess they still had some coals on them around your pit, and I stuck them out to the side, and then we drove down to Alvin or whatever, and we get halfway there, and it's a fire. It's not in your pit.
I pulled up into Walmart parking lot, and I dropped John off the front door, and I whipped around. And I'm just sitting there waiting, looking, and I just happened to glance in the side mirrors. I'm like, is that smoke? It's like a puff of smoke just went up. I was like, it's weird. No, it's like maybe it's just dust kicking up from a car going by. And then a minute later, I was like, shit, that is smoke. And then I get out of the car to investigate, and I go, and there's a burning log on the side of the pit that's tucked up underneath the firebox. And I'm like,
who would do that? What kind of monster would put that on a burnt log?
No, we had cooked on that thing the night before. I was like, I'm gonna be a good guy. I'm gonna clean out his firebox before we go down to this event. So I cleaned out the firebox. There was one log sitting in there. I thought it's out. Like there wasn't fire. I grabbed it out and stuck it
with your
underneath.
hand.
Yeah, it wasn't hot, but there must have been a hot spot on it because we drove down there and that wind just.
Yeah.
I was like, John, I guess we don't need a fire starter now. I just took that burning log and just tossed it into the fire pit. So,
oh man, the looks he was giving me when he's pulling around and I was standing in front of him. I'm like, where the hell have you been? He's like, putting out the damn fire. I'm like, oh, my bad.
Sorry about that, bud. That's fine.
So obviously, there's a lot of different. It really depends on the pit, but I guess what we're saying is that maintaining your fire. I mean, you got to pay attention to what you're doing. You got to be patient. Don't use giant chunks of wood when your firebox is only like,
It's not big enough to handle
a chunk of wood. That is just not a great game plan. It's not great management.
If you're smoking on a Weber, don't throw a log in it.
And remember this: your pit wants to run the way it wants to run. Right?
Yeah,
Learn how to
let it run that way.
Cook that way versus trying to fight something the entire time. If you fight it, you're going to hate it. It's not an enjoyable experience at that point. I'd rather kick it over and drink a beer.
Don't cook a brisket on your pit for the first time you're cooking on it.
Right.
Do a pork butt. Do something forgiving.
Learn your pit, right?
Yeah.
I think the way that I started, and probably a lot of you guys have started, and maybe a lot of people that are listening along, is you always start small. You always start with the definitely grilling the chickens, grilling the steaks or smoking chickens and whatever, and then you kind of graduate up to doing some maybe ribs and
Do you think
this
so?
and that.
I think people automatically buy a pit, and that weekend they get the pit up, they season it like what they saw on YouTube, and then they run straight to the store. They buy the brisket. They bring it home.
Biggest brisket they can
They
find.
destroy it. It's charcoal by the time they get done with it, and they're like, "This pit sucks." Or I think a lot of people do that, right? I don't think it's the. I don't think like let me get some chicken wings and graduate up to a brisket. You know what I mean? I don't think
He's
it's.
saying what smart people do.
Right.
Is that what you said? Smart people do that.
I think that's what I was.
That's what he meant. That's what he meant.
Okay.
Honestly, Matt, I like Matt's idea with the pork butt. Because pork butt is super freaking
you can abuse
forgiving.
the hell
Just
out
keep
of it.
cooking
Yes.
that thing until
Yeah.
it falls apart.
Yeah.
And temp swings aren't going to matter as much on a pork butt, I don't think.
Yeah. Last one I cooked, I was inside watching TV. Ooh, it's been an hour since I looked at that
Right.
pit, and I go back and throw some more coals on. Just like I
It's
just
still good.
Your
just
money muscle might
abused
dry
the
out a
hell
little
out,
bit,
and it
right.
still came out. I'm like, it tastes great.
Yeah.
just shredding it up and just
Yeah.
like, hey, if you got to add sauce to it, you got to add sauce to it. I mean, come on now.
I know some on the back here. You have a little description of your low and slow and your hot and fast cooks, right?
Yeah. I also like. Yeah, I mean,
We already kind of knows, but I think it's important to know that. Like, obviously, we want to go over this, but
yeah.
I think it's important to know that. Well, go ahead. I mean, there's combinations of this too, right?
My piece of paper doesn't have that. I guess I just failed to staple that one to it.
Yeah.
But obviously, we're talking about the maintaining a fire, maintaining a temperature, and there's two schools of thought, or there's two ways of doing it when it comes to making barbecue, and one of them is hot and fast, and one of them is low and slow, and the different temperatures between the two, and hot and fast, it says anywhere from 300 to
350.
350,
Yep.
which I still think that's I always kind of equate hot being 275. I think I equate hot and fast is anything over 225. You know what I mean?
That's what I think too.
So that's
Yeah.
Texas, right? Like Texas cooking is a very very low temperature, 225. If it takes 16 hours, then it takes 16 hours. But we're going to slowly render that meat, right? But yeah, the 225 to 250, I think that's the range that a lot of people talk about being in. Just be as long as you're in that range right there, that's a low and slow temp.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree. 275 is getting on the cusp. 300 to me is the high side,
That's
right?
the high
That's the hot
side,
fast.
yeah.
But let me tell you, world champions that have won, they've cooked both ways, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Myron Mixon's a hot and fast guy.
Yeah.
He cooks one brisket. It's the best brisket he can buy with money, and that's what he does. It's a hot and fast brisket. That's what he likes. Other people like us historically have done a low and slow brisket. I mean, 250 to 275, which
Right.
we're still flirting with that range of getting a little bit. But I think some of the good ones, they're doing both.
Do you think it depends a little bit on the grade of the meat? Like these guys that are doing the competitions, they're doing Wagyu, so I think it's easier to run that thing at 350 and not screw it up because there's so much fat in it. Where if you have a select brisket, you probably want to run that thing low and slow and let that thing just,
That's right. You want to render
Tenderize,
down
yeah.
just kind of slowly. I think if letting it trying to get to temperature too fast, the muscle doesn't break down.
Right.
Right.
It doesn't have
That's
time.
doesn't have time to break down. It needs another 3 hours, and that's why the rest time is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Like on that side, but still, I think if you a lower temperature develop that bark, that to me that's my favorite brisket. But there's something to be said about the two methods combining, and I've done it several times. I love the hot and fast for an hour or two, and then drop completely down. Pull the meat off, drop the meat down to 225. Let it pit down 225 or 250, and let it coast out until it's done. I love the way it curls up. I love the way the bark sets up.
it'll balloon up a little
It
bit, right?
just is
And then,
pops,
yeah,
right?
It's
It's plumes. So I'm a fan of that. It's funny, even the like what you say. People have this premise it's foil and it's butcher paper, right? And somebody like Moe Cason comes around and goes nah, I do both.
just do both.
You know what I mean? I do both, and you're mind freaking blown.
Right.
Jesus, so simple.
Duh.
Right? Who said you had to conform to one way of barbecue? And
Yeah.
again, I think that's what barbecue is so subjective. You don't have to conform to one way of barbecue. You can combine so many different genres, so many different cultures. That's what I love so much about really barbecue, man. I mean, it's amazing.
I mean, that's what I enjoy about this whole thing right here, that we could sit here and just have a discussion about what we think. and I'm saying 100%. It's like we don't think we're right all the time.
I mean, I'm right all the time.
Yeah, maybe Jan. So maybe 10% of the time we
100%
don't.
of the time.
Great. Thank you, Jan.
50% of the time, we're right every time.
Exactly.
Sex Panther.
So we'd love to hear from you. How are you guys cooking? You doing hot and fast? You doing low and slow? Any tips, tricks that you might have on maintaining your fire? If you're cooking on a drum smoker, I mean, obviously those things just don't leave the lid open.
Yeah. You look like other people on the circuit right now with burn up pits. But you're exactly right. And if we could touch a little bit on the fire management for Texas Hold does, if we could touch a little bit on the fire management for the drums, because I think that's important. It's like there is like a set way that I've been practicing in the backyard on mine, and like even taking like 15 or 16 briquettes and lighting them on fire and getting those going. And I may already have my basket already ready to go. I've already pulled some charcoal back a little bit, and I'm dumping those in there. The lid may be open for like 15 minutes. Once I close it and let it I'll let it slowly go to temperature. I don't want this thing shooting up, because once it does, I can't control it.
Can't slow it down.
Can't control it anymore. But I do one corner of the basket on mine with maybe 14 or 15 briquettes, and it may take me 45 minutes to get to where I really want, where I'm like, okay, I'm perfect. This is where
Those things are great.
I'm throwing it. They're so
They just
smooth.
hold temperature.
They do. They just don't have the same wood flavor. And that's the only thing. You usually get the same smokiness with that. But it's, I just think there's, like, what was it? Dusty had his, the Kamado, which is very similar to a drum. Like, how are you going to maintain the temperature on and whatever else? Right. He was burning everything up, right? He couldn't maintain the temperature.
Yeah. And I was talking with him. It's like he's having a hard time, like he just getting the pit to where he wanted it as temperature-wise. And once you got it there, keeping that temperature constant, because he was having an issue with the coals just dying out, burning up.
He may not have enough.
Burning up. So it's like, but on these things right here, on his specifically, there's two grates down below, and there's a grate on top. I say grate. There's two vents down below, and there's a vent on top that has two different knobs. One controls, I guess it's some airway restriction, and there's another one that controls a little bit more finer airway restriction. To me, it seems complicated. I was like, oh shit, how does this work? So one's for grilling, one's for smoking. So he's got it dialed in now. But when you first get it, you're just like, how do I do? Okay, yeah, I just open up dump some lump charcoal in there and light it up, and we're good to go. Let it come up to temperature, shut it down, put meat on, and go. But if you go to the point where, like, you're doing ribs, and hey, let me just open up this lid, pull those ribs off because it's time to wrap, and I go to sauce, I go do whatever, and you leave the lid open, that fire is just like chewing up. So the next thing you know, you put your ribs back on, you close it down, and I don't care how many baffles you have underneath that.
There's a fire touching the grate already.
It's literally going to chew the inside of whatever meat that you have sitting there. And there was a couple times where we had that issues before, but I think he's got it dialed in now, using the kind of the minion method of getting a charcoal basket halfway lit, get that lit up, and then have some unlit coals in your egg. And so you dump it in, put your lids on top of that, you shut it down, set your vents to where you want to, and let that come to temperature, and now you're like, okay, I'm good to go. Yeah, we cooked on it, and that thing maintained a temperature all day.
Yeah, they're great pits. Those ceramic
we did this pork butt. Awesome. I think we wrapped. I was afraid. I was like, let's go and just light. Actually, I was like, we pulled the grates off, and I just dumped a little bit more lump charcoal in there, shut it down, closed. I mean, but that thing rock and rolled like all day, all night.
Nice.
Damn.
Nice.
No complaints there.
Damn.
Love it. And maintaining temperature on a pellet grill. Do not forget to put pellets in your hopper. So there's that.
There's that
too.
Is that the only thing?
That's it.
Done.
Make sure you guys steady power.
Right.
Make sure you
not let that sucker unplug. and
Well,
don't
your
run out of
temperature
pellets.
will spike if you don't ever clean it out, and all that sawdust catches fire.
Make sure your thing is clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, because that will spike. It'll be more than a spike.
Yeah.
Your grill will be on fire.
Yeah.
Been there.
Freaking rocket.
Yeah.
Like a rocket stove.
You open that thing up and it's like,
Hey, listen, I've seen these rocket stoves going around, and I'm just thinking, like, do we need one of these?
I would like that one. They're cool. I don't know like what the point is, but they're cool.
Oh, they're super cool because
Yeah.
you can put an attachment on top, and now you have this blowtorch basically shooting up this pipe
Right.
on top of a griddle on top, and you have a little homemade griddle at home that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. And I think they're warm. They keep you warm, too, right? I mean, that's what the...
I guess, yeah.
like
It'll
for a-
keep you warm.
But it didn't like
Like
for-
a fire.
They originally created to keep the state like you could minimal amount of fuel that would heat up and have a blowtorch blowing up into
Right.
a room, right, or
It's
something.
like a smelting pot or something like that. What do they call those things? I know you
Rocket
call it
stoves.
You call it a rocket stove?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I've heard it called something else.
Maybe.
Okay,
I believe you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, you just put fuel in that, and that's it. That's how you maintain that one.
Nice.
So
Stay tuned to our next episode when
It
we
is.
get into the dynamics of rocket stoves.
that's right. We do have some. Do we have any guests coming up?
I have nothing booked, but I'm planning on booking a lot of stuff. I've talked to a lot of people. I just haven't got anybody on the books yet.
Okay.
What we do have is that somebody gave us a barbecue fail or win.
Mhm.
I try not to read them because I want to learn along with the rest of y'all.
There it is.
Yep. And this
Very
is if you're on
authentic.
YouTube, you'll be able to watch this because this is a good one.
But they wrote something in too, which I will narrate while that video is going on.
It's not going to play sound, is it, or is it?
It might.
Okay.
It definitely might.
It definitely might.
Just
All right, I'll read this while this is going on. This is from Lisa Martinez, 595. She said, well, my husband was moving the smoker and waiting for my nephew.
And there goes the truck. Fuck. Save the truck. Save the truck. Forget the pellet smoker.
I did not think it was going to be that loud, that crashing.
Sorry.
he's pissed.
That's amazing.
Is the barbecue pit attached to
It
it?
sucks.
No, it was just leaning up
was
against it
just
in the
leaning.
driveway.
Damn it.
All right.
Oh, he is pissed. That is called.
Oh man.
That is called pissed.
I would be blaming somebody like, why doesn't there no locks on the wheels?
There are locks on those wheels. He didn't have them
dang
locked.
it.
All right, so this was from Lisa Martinez,
Dang,
595.
That sucks.
She said, well, my husband was moving the smoker and waiting for my nephew to arrive to help him load it. He was late, and hubby, being the impatient person he is, thought he could get the tailgate lower to load it himself. The driveway is at an incline, and you see the rest. Dented my car, trashed the Traeger, tried to hide it from me, and later came in and told me about my car, showed me the video. I wasn't mad, said, you're fixing my car, but this is funny shit. I died laughing, and he said, you're not mad? I said, nope, you're a shit show, and you're fixing the car, but I'm posting this shit.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love
so
it.
if you're not watching this on YouTube, basically the guy's sitting there by the back of his truck, just waiting for somebody to show up. It looks like, and he's got his Traeger. It looks like
He
the
just
Traeger's
can't wait.
It's just barely leaned up against the tailgate. Tailgate's down, and this is kind of leaning, not
Freaking
leaning,
nephew.
but it's touching it, right?
Do you see how long before somebody actually walked over?
Oh yeah, it wasn't very long.
Like 2 minutes.
Yeah, if
Dude
that.
had 2 minutes. He couldn't wait.
Not
He's
even
like,
2
not even-
minutes.
right.
So he's like, I'm gonna
He had like
pull my
1
truck
minute.
down to the bottom so that we can get this thing under. He doesn't even realize he pulls out. That the smoker takes off.
Right.
For the folks that can't see
Then he
it.
gets out trying to catch it.
Right, and he doesn't realize it takes longer for him to realize his truck is leaving. His truck is taking off
Heading
across
down
the
the
cul-de-sac.
driveway.
It's gone. I didn't think he was going to catch it.
Yeah.
He moved though. Hey,
Yeah.
whatever. It happens.
Now, there's a bonus video.
Hey,
And a
I've been
bonus
mad at
narration
my
to go
boy.
with this.
I've been mad at my boy. Where the hell is my boy at?
Right.
I asked you.
It's really not my fault. It's
yeah,
his
it's
fault.
his fault for not showing up when I told him to.
So yeah, the bonus video is actually the same dude. She sent me this video, and this is just her husband, I guess, as she said it, being a shit show.
Okay, listen, we're all shit shows here.
Oh,
That's the next
That
one.
All right, what's the time out? What is that?
Shit!
Is it ice? Did he slip on ice? Or is it just,
This is up in the Pacific Northwest. And it looked like he might have had some groceries or something. I don't know what he had. He's
Poor
walking out.
guy. We need to
Jeez,
send him. Guess what? Guess what, guys? Are you done?
Well,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So Lisa sent something that was once he starts like moaning on the ground, I'll read it out. He's still just laying there.
If you guys aren't watching this on YouTube, please just go over to YouTube and at least watch this little part because it is freaking hilarious.
get
I bet he felt that the next
So go
morning.
ahead. Go ahead, Matt.
Anyway, so it says, you see him falling in the ice? I swear he's a cluster F. If I had cameras all around the house, he would be famous.
Hey, you know what? Shame on you for not putting cameras around the house. then.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. They'll pay for themselves with all your
I know.
TikTok views.
Let's go.
His name is Rod Martinez.
Guess what, Rod? You got some Sucklebusters seasonings coming to you. Just go on, pick out one. We always suggest the Chicks That Smoke because, hey, it pays to know. But guess what? Sucklebusters. Everybody wants some Sucklebusters.
And Lisa, if he does this as often as he says he does, just keep sending him in.
I know.
We'll keep playing them.
We're going to fill your entire pantry full of awesome seasonings.
winning the seasonings?
Yes. Well, as a little bonus, we actually have a barbecue win as well.
Oh.
This is and this one's just audio, but those that follow along know that we did a huge freaking giveaway. Thank you to all the sponsors that helped us out with that. This is a message from our friend Daryl Dukes that won the giveaway.
There it is.
Hey fellas, this is Daryl Dukes, aka Papa Q. I just won your 2022 Christmas giveaway. I got to tell you, man, I couldn't be more excited about this giveaway. This was huge. I want to give out just a shout out real quick to all your sponsors in this giveaway. Oklahoma Joe's, Grill Greats, Cambro, Sucklebusters, Thermo Works, Redneck Roach, Clean Space Project, Grill Your Ass Off, Barbecue News Magazine, Chicks That Smoke, Hey Grill Hey, and Grab 'em in the Brisket. Hey, thank y'all so much for this giveaway. Y'all lifted my spirits a lot with this one. And, you know, I'm really thankful to whoever the first person was that didn't follow the rules. That got me here.
There it is.
Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. Check out my page, Papa Q. Get you some.
There it is. Papa Q. Hey, good for him, man.
Hey, be honest. You didn't pay him to say all that?
Hey,
He just,
No,
listen.
He's just a
it's
good
just
dude.
him. But it pays to follow the directions.
That's all I'm saying. Somebody
know what I
else,
mean?
they weren't following.
What did
everybody
they not
supposed-
do? What was
they
the
weren't
thing?
following everyone they were supposed to follow. Like part of the signing up for these giveaways is you got to follow the folks that are donating all these awesome goods. If you're not going to follow everybody,
That's right. You don't want to win.
I check. I'm sorry, I check.
You don't.
he probably
wanna
thought
win.
nobody was ever going to check it. He just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I
So
just
so
picked
so
the
listen.
second winner.
Do you have that name and whatever?
He just called
Who?
him out.
The
Of
first
who-
person?
of who didn't?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I do have it somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're not going to call anybody out.
No. We don't have to call him out. But you know what? I think we should just maybe reach out to him. Like let's get let's seriously.
They know. They know.
Let's reach out to
Or
him.
they don't know. There's probably multiple people that didn't follow the rules that go, shit, maybe I would have won.
It could
That's
have
right.
been you.
It could have been you, man.
Yeah.
And listen, it was so much stuff. I think it was probably one of our coolest giveaways we've done.
Oh,
So,
that's great.
and yeah, big thank you to all the sponsors for helping us out with that. I mean, this is
He's been having stuff show up like every other day for like the last 2 weeks. So
that's
He's
badass.
loving it.
trickling in.
Yeah,
That's
Nice.
good.
Yeah.
Hey, stay tuned because there's going to be more to follow. I mean, obviously, we're going to have a lot of more exciting stuff planned for the 2023 season with Grabbing the Brisket.
Grabbing the Brisket, Mr. Beast style next, maybe at the end of the year.
$1 million.
Maybe at the
Stay
end
in
of
the
year.
circle. How do you do that?
Do you want to do it? I mean, you want to do $1 million circle?
I would love to do $1 million.
We can figure it out.
Last
guys.
one to
We
take their
can
hand off
figure
the
it out.
Oklahoma Joe wins it.
Maybe Oklahoma Joe wants to do. We can partner with somebody. We could do a Mr. Beast style. Trust me.
Yeah, that would actually be. I like that. Last person to take their hand off the smoker wins the
We
smoker.
talked to Austin Smokeworks.
We'll do Johnny in June.
The fuck we will.
Yeah.
I love
I just want to see your face.
That's it. Matt's out.
it. So, man, it's been really great talking barbecue with you
It has,
guys.
guys.
I've had fun.
Before we go, And I know your sign off, and I know Matt has his sign off, and John wants to go peace and everything else.
I'm cutting all this out.
But listen, I think the dynamic today, I loved it. I loved the energy. I loved like just the banter back and forth. I didn't have a whole lot of obstacles happening around us. Just a better flow. We'll see how this video comes out and whatever. But I definitely like this.
We couldn't
way
have said
better.
this after we were wrapped up.
Nope.
Okay.
Need to
Just
be said-
checking. I just want to make
it need
sure.
to be said right now, right here,
Some banter
because
for you.
Okay.
yeah, there it is.
Now I'm just going to stay silent until somebody talks.
Well, listen, hey, we appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Peace.
Thanks, everybody. We've been great.
Dang it, Bobby. Just grab the brisket. We'd like to give a special thanks to Sucklebusters Barbecue Rubs and Sauces, Bonner's Fiesta Spices, Cooley Nation Custom Koozies, Cambro Manufacturing, Yeti Coolers, the Smoke Sheep Barbecue Newsletter, and Dow Strong Knives. We definitely appreciate your support.